I saw floating around here.
I saw him floating. He always shows up.
Did he play some events?
COVID, right?
Or he was just hanging
I
out?
don't know if he played any events this stop. I know the last one he wanted to play the mystery so that he can make money even by just busting someone, you know, without even cashing.
Is that shots fired by
No,
Randy
he
here
told
in
me
the
this
booth?
himself. But you might have missed a little conversation between Punata and Brinkeni. Punat was saying that no one has won the Invitational and the main event. There's a 50% chance that could happen, whether it's Punat Ponsri or Talal Shakurchi.
Yeah. Interesting stat. 9 deuce.
50.
In the limp BVB situation.
No back, well, 0 backdoors, but 9 deuce of spades. Yeah. Tough to make something happen there.
Yeah, but
Shakurchi
you could take a
trying to trap Brent.
This is when you need the hand to.
No, because then when you started getting tangled in those, then you get real. You're like, okay, I'm gonna have to bluff it in some spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, at least if I'm gonna bluff you, I want to have like a chance.
For chance, yeah.
Not just like only place I'm going there is just like try to make a bluff against you.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I think wrong customer.
Yeah, probably that true. That as well.
Very delightful suited connector here, 9/8 suited.
To 300,000. Cole?
Up we go.
Talal plays so fast.
Love to see it, by the way. How long do you think it would take if we put Talal Shakurchi and Christoph Vogelsang into a heads-up cage match for Talal to lose his mind?
I don't know, but he's hit bottom set here for Talal.
Against backdoor diamonds and second pair for Panakovs.
Main event here should be big, probably bigger.
Keep in mind, these two have been kind of just playing so many pots so far. Does check, not looking to check fold, of course.
Yeah, deferring to Shakurchi is the pre-flop raiser Panakovs. No follow through, and the sizing is 425K.
108 or so in Vietnam.
I think
From Shakurchi.
Yeah, it would be trouble if Panakovs makes 2 pair of trips on the turn, given he's up against the set. Ideally, he'd want diamond draw to show up.
My one was 90.
Check call, we go.
And the next one is probably like, I think 102.
So I'm sure it gets somewhere in that range anyway of like, although there'll be some people who didn't play the Invitational will be playing this, but then probably like 10 to 15 VIPs that won't play this.
Uh-oh.
I would guess. Or so.
Trip 8's the product of the check call line from Panakovs. 6 is full for Shakurchi. Alex not drawing dead, but he is in a bad way here as he checks one more time in a 1.8 million chip pot. And Shakurchi
Deception.
checking back. A clean river for him.
Just because, like, yeah, I don't like World Series or so. I just don't have a good time. Here it's
8,
like
9 or jack were the outs for Panakovs, who had 16%.
The world who have like similar but
now
different interests too.
Check,
like,
more deception, although he's got the worst of it.
Poker, like to meet different people,
I mean, he
talk to
blocks
people,
the
have
9.
fun.
Does
Everybody's
Panakovs in
just
terms
like
of
a great
pesky
environment from,
straights
like,
that might be a product of
players,
this?
staff, how it's always
10 of
ran
clubs?
amazing.
He must feel that Jack X would bet when check due, and maybe he can extract more value. He knows there's been history going on in Talal betting his full house. Is
Now-
there a chance that Panakovs just think this is Jack 10 or like Ace Jack or something that he
Who's your
can
first,
extract more
trade?
value by just jamming?
Now, 1.125 the bet sizing from Shakurchi into 1.8-ish. And Panakov's SPR, he's got 3.3 million,
Before
just
you were
north of
playing, like, the Asian Tour series
1
and
after
stuff,
the bet.
or more online.
5 seconds.
I didn't really play tournaments up until.
He shouldn't fear the 9-7 Queen 9 that much, holding the 9 himself, and he's all in, and Panakovs is done.
Showers. As Alex Panakovs thought he was the trapper and turned into the trap E.
GG, brother.
GG.
And that certainly clears a path for Talal Shakurchi, who really had his hands full the way that Alex Panakovs showed up and approached this final table.
Someone will have an invitation.
Here's the deal, Randy. as
Yeah,
he's
so
out
before that, I was playing, like,
in
half
fourth.
games here, and then back to Thailand. I had a break from ball.
$2.5 million going to the Latvian as
Approach this final
a
table.
bunch of surprise and astonishment goes to the rest of us. Adds to his $4.1 million in career Triton earnings, 8th career cash, but an abrupt end to his tenure here at the final table. Still yet to go to our first break, and we've only got 3 left. Bunch of surprise and astonishment.
That is crazy.
Goes to the
I will
rest of
admit,
us.
3
Adds to a
very deep
4.1
stacks.
million
We
in
got to give a
career
shout out to
Triton earnings.
Ponikov, who had an amazing
8th career
performance at
cash.
this final table, was relentless against the
But
chip
an
leaders.
abrupt end
He ran to a cooler
his
spot,
tenure
tried to extract
here
value,
at
did
the
get
final
trapped
table.
by the
Still yet to
2-6s,
go to our first break, and
which
we-
was a full house. Nicely played. GG.
In all the opportunities, Randy, that you and I have had to observe Alex Ponikov's, a lot of times we're having fun with him. He's wearing the tracksuits. He's given us fodder for the broadcast. Never before have I observed him in a I came to play kind of vibe like I did here today. Not to say that he doesn't come to play each and every time he shows up at a Triton, but today in particular he seemed laser focused, and it's so disappointing to see him run into a spot like that where there's nothing much maybe he could have done. Is there a world in which a flat call would be appropriate at that sizing and at that stack depth?
I don't think so. Not the way he played it, because he had the 9 in his hand. He blocks the 7-9 and Queen 9. And also 7-9 Queen 9 bets a turn at a high frequency. So really, he only loses 2 pocket 6s, but pocket 6s bets a turn at a high frequency too. GG.
It's like different.
Maybe some pocket 10s from time to time. I forget what the pre-flop action was, but
It was a flat call pre-flop.
Yeah.
I don't think so,
Yeah.
just given how Talal's been playing.
agreed.
Went for it, he lost it all. It happens.
Head might not be lying on the pillow quite as softly tonight for Ponikov's, although he's going to have that delightful 2.5 million reasons to feel good about his outcome here. 3.1 million secured by the remaining 3 players as we see Punsri from the button making it 300, picking up Bryn Kenny. Not the first time these two guys have collided. There's a dominant Queen 10. Takes the ace high flop, decides to check. Now on the turn.
Lots
Oh,
of added
spades.
equity.
Yeah. Straight flush draw for Kenny.
425,000.
Had Punat bet the flop, this Queen 6 would have been the muck, but has given the opportunity for Bryn Kenny to steal it. No spade in hand. It looks like he's done with this one.
Tough if you have no spades. And
No, I said, get it idea. You didn't probe when they kind of had it, and then you probe when they did not have it.
All 3 of these players, Ali, had tremendous performances at the Triton Tour. We got main event champion Talal Shakurchi, main event champion Punat Ponsri, and of course, Bryn Kenny winning the biggest prize ever in the Triton
Yeah,
history.
but I had
this is
no
a
gutter,
decorated
and, like,
threesome
I had
here.
2 over, no gutter, and like okay, I was just like, okay, I don't want to be just like make something out of nothing here. Let's just keep like steady moving.
25,000.
Lots of play to be had, 79 big blind average stack.
Fold.
Have 1 VIP, Talal Shakurchi, 2 pros. Although one kind of 50-50, right? He went
Yeah.
from VIP to pro. So an even split, I'll say.
and obviously that's not an indictment or a slight against Punat Punsri's play, which is very professional.
By no means.
Check, check. On the flop here. As this time, Shakurchi locks up with Kenny. Side against King High. Well, I'll just pick up the open-ender on the turn. I have a hunch about being able to do something, but instead shuts all the way down. There's the board pairs on the river, and Shakurchi.
Let's see what the stacks look like. I'm guessing
Yeah, both
all
players
chip
have good
lead
high
here.
cards.
Oh, no, I have
Reclaiming the chip
exact
lead
same about
after
it.
that exchange, ever so slightly.
13, 13, 9. Actually, now you just took me over with that pot. Yeah, of course. Like winning one big one.
I was the one that got lucky.
So, yeah.
Do you check back the turn? Yeah. I think I noticed that trick.
Oh,
These three are just feeling so comfortable despite the stakes. Chatty, playing quick, having a good time. It's a 1.35 million pay jump. They can survive one more. I want to say it should take a long time given how deep they are, but
It
play has
should.
been swift.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Big blind, thank you.
Suited, barely connected jack here.
raised to 300,000.
1.4.
Re-raised to 1,400,000.
Things are interesting with this re-raise to 1.4. Disrespectful 3-bet. What does Kenny do with ace queen? It is a spot where you certainly could 4-bet. How light does he think Talal is 3-betting in this spot? Does he want to just stay away from all of the heavy action with these deep stacks? Or does he maybe make it like 3.2 or so?
In terms of ICM, the pay jump between third and second is a whopping 1.5 million plus, Randy. And so you think maybe you would have aversions toward the higher variance approaches, but not Brain Kenny as he jams and hauls that one in.
And notice he opted to go for 4-bet all in rather than 4-bet small. Wasn't ace king.
Confirmed.
Almost hate it, but you're like,
So we're gonna do it. It's only
Yeah.
300.
I'm like, I'm not gonna make it like, 3.1 and then fold 2.
Yeah. Sometimes it's sometimes
you
horrible,
lose,
sometimes
you lose.
sometimes
Yeah.
you get it.
Just like one of those, gotta dodge the snap. If you dodge the snap, okay. Like, oh,
Yeah,
and
the
I'm
snap
like,
dodge is
there's
a
some
real
people who
sweat.
might fold their ace king and like your seat. I'm like, you're not
No,
one of them.
yeah.
No.
No,
That's why I've just gotta dodge the snap.
Yeah.
Talal is
That's in
not
the
an ace
snap
king
range
folding guy.
for-
Yeah, definitely.
Raised to 325,000.
At least on the surface,
Against you, Bryn, it's firmly in the snap range.
this invitational event with a $3.1 million third place payout, a $1.5 million pay jump, 6.8 plus available up top, lacks the sort of intensity that you might expect. But beneath the surface, obviously, we know these guys are fighting and fighting hard. As we see Kenny 3-betting the Talal Open, ace-6, bowing out to the ace-9. And Bryn beginning to surge, 14.5 million.
It really has been smooth sailing for Bryn Kenny. Of course, that ace queen was a bold play in the last hand, but comfortably chipping up. He feels very comfortable given what's at stake right now.
Bryn Kenny, currently second on poker's all-time
Figuring my
money list.
girlfriend's ticket to get over here.
4 million behind Justin Bonomo.
Because they're in like
Uh-oh.
Asheville, like in
Two
North
kings and ace
Carolina,
jack
so
suited.
I've got to get like a car to go to Charlotte, then Charlotte to fly over here.
The casual talking limp.
Well, that was Kenny, I think, that was talking. Punsri
5,000.
quietly limps in with the 2 kings, and Shakurchi, you might think, is just trying to bully us when we're limping in, but he's got real kit in the ace-jack of clubs. Not that it matters if it's real kit or not. Only one hand has these kings in trouble, and it is an ace-jack.
Yes, looking to limp re-raise these 2 kings, expecting Talal to attack him.
1.75.
And once he does, 1.75, what's Talal going to be thinking about?
Straight in there.
Yeah. No hesitation call.
pretty much a mandatory call, though, for ace-jack suited, as
1-7.
Pinot can definitely have some limp re-raises that would fold.
But the raise was big enough that it should allow Punsri to narrow Talal's continue range.
Ideally, Pinot was hoping that his opponent would want to just get it all in pre-flop or not. For now, though, we'll have to take a flop.
And a flop where his kings are downed. Aces and jacks as the Cowboys turning into a Broadway gutter in terms of future prospects. King would do the trick too, less desirably. It's a 3.6 million chip pot bruise.
Really just one of the worst boards you can see for Pinot. He's going to just maintain control with the 600K bet. Gets called so fast. And it looks weak on his ace-queen jack to get snap called.
As you and I know,
he's ahead sometimes.
It's quite strong, and it just got stronger, courtesy of an 8 of clubs, where Shakurchi is never going to find the muck.
It feels like Pinot needs to just slow this one down. Try to get it to the river cheaply. He blocks some of the hands he beats, the king-queen specifically. The king-jacks.
Understandable slowdown from Punsri, and for Talal, the limp 3-bet is obviously the kind of move that a lot of times we assign to very big holdings. Maybe in particular, given how self-aware Talal is, the kind of move that when made against him, rates to be attached to stronger hands than usual because of how adhesive he can be.
1.4.
Bet 1,400,000.
And Talal is trying to give the best price for like an ace-king to continue. Doesn't want it to hero fold. Maybe these two kings get curious. Some ace-x that would limp re-raise. It's not... Kings isn't best too often in this spot.
Don't want to get married to the strength of the hand pre-flop when post-flop.
Then again, you're up against Talal Shakurchi, and you know he does like to attack. He's got looser ranges. He's in there. Wow, look at this pot.
Grows to almost 8 million, Randy. Punsri not drawn dead, but drawn thin. Totally inconsequential river. And now these two kings are basically going to be bluff catching.
Check.
Playing 4.5 effective.
Talal shouldn't fear the ace-queen, pocket queens, and aces too much, just given that it was very draw heavy on the turn, so those hands might want to put... Wow, does check it back. I'm very surprised with that ace-jack check back.
That is a big favor to Punsri to be able to get to showdown free of charge there. Not sure there was a price that he was going to be calling, Randy, but...
If it went in free, it would have been out, so it's okay. On the river, you would have called? No, but I mean, if it gone all in free, it would have been out.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
There are a lot of hands that don't fold, but this I fold. I wouldn't fold ace king.
Yeah. I mean, I assumed you would fold kings on the river.
I call ace king, but I don't
Yeah.
fold it. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you rip it top, if it's a little bit more amount. So
Yeah. Understood. Yeah.
No, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks.
Looking for a home along with the title in the richest of buy-ins available here at this London festival. Pinot on the short stack with 22 bigs, neck and neck are Shakurchi and Bryn Kenny, and they have not been shy about collisions.
No, we've got a big three-handed battle to go. Pinot Punsri clearly short stack, but plenty of breathing room with 30 big blinds. Bryn Kenny and Shakurchi will
Probably
be
my last time.
just attacking as much as they can, but no one's really being too shy right now.
Love to see it too, and obviously there's not going to be anything bashful happening on the button for Punat Punsri. Pocket aces, a warm welcome back to the FT for him. Now remember, the pocket kings
4.5. That's what
got showered by ace-jack suited just before the break. Now, with aces, hoping for a better outcome. Bryn defends the 10-6. And flops a piece. Got the 10 of clubs as well. This is trouble.
Yeah, extremely good texture for Punat Punsri to extract value. Has a 4.1 million stack, looking to try and get a bet jam in there. For now, though, perhaps a smaller bet.
Bet 300,000.
And Bryn Kenny naturally will want to keep the pot a bit small with this middle pair 10 kicker.
Fold.
300 into 1.1. Standard fanfare thus far. The check call bringing the pot to 1.75. Doesn't seem like anything to be worried about.
The 5 is a card that is more advantageous for the big blind check calling range. You're not expecting the dealer button to be opening the little cards too often. And it looks like he's actually reaching chips to maintain control and not let 2 overcards get a free card.
475,000.
There is merit for Punat Punsri to raise pocket aces right now. Try to extract value from the 1 pair gutters, the 1 pair straight draw hands. Jack X, of course, clubs. Does he play cautious? Is he a bit afraid, given the range advantage for the big blind?
Breaking with the flow of play. Bryn now leading out. And once Punsri makes the call, do we just assume sixes are no good automatically, Randy?
Not at 100% frequency, but this 3 of clubs, not so good for the 2 aces. It does bring a 4-liner if the clubs come in. But Bryn Kenny does have reasonable showdown value. Not a lot, but perhaps just enough to check.
How worried is he going to be, though, about Punat being the man as the pre-flop raiser from the button whose holding contains the deuce X, 7X?
Probably not too often. He is up against Jack X at a decent frequency.
Yeah, but Jack X, in the face of a big enough bet here, is going to have real issues.